How can I improve my culinary skills?
Okay.
How can I improve my culinary skills?
I've read almost every novel from Yai Publishing House. Pretty normal, right? I've read almost every novel from Yai Publishing House. Pretty normal, right? I've read almost every novel from Yai Publishing House. Pretty normal, right?
You can find
I'm very sorry, but we cannot afford to pay what we owe right now. My husband has gone missing, and I'm still trying to find him.
No, you misunderstand us. We are here to help with the investigation. We'd like to ask you some questions about Mr. Nagato's disappearance, if we may.
Ah, I see. I thought the debt collectors had come to visit again. I'm sorry you have to see me in this dreadful state. Has some new information come out? Do you know where he's gone?
I'm afraid we don't have any new information at the moment. We're still trying to find out as much as we can to inform our search. With this in mind, can we perhaps ask some questions about your family's current situation?
For example, Paimon's struggling to understand why a collector would be strapped for Mora.
That's a long story. Ever since I've known him, he's been an avid collector of all sorts of things. He'd always get so animated when he was showing them to me. I knew nothing about the items myself, but seeing how enthusiastic and excited they made him, I was happy to believe that they were just extremely important to him. Everything was fine when we first got married, but as time went by, things changed for the worse.
Uh-oh, what happened?
He lost his sense of restraint. He started buying more and more things, and even resorted to borrowing money just so he could pay for them. Our expenses really spiraled out of control when he started getting interested in weapons. It was awful. There were days when he'd spend hours down at the warehouse, admiring his weapons even as debt collectors were descending upon our house. He wouldn't sell them, wouldn't even touch them. Just sat there staring at them like he was in a trance. I'm happy he has a hobby, and I'm willing to support him. But making ends meet has to come first. I've tried talking to him about it so many times, but he never listens. On the last day that I saw him, I gave him an ultimatum. I said, if he refused to sell his collectibles and pay off his debts, I would divorce him and take the children with me.
And that led to an argument.
Actually, it didn't. Generally, he's a quiet man who likes to go with the flow. On most things, he leaves the decision-making to me. You must understand, too, I never would have dreamed of threatening him with divorce if the debts hadn't pushed our family to the brink. After I said those words, he froze. He was silent for a long time. When he finally spoke, he awkwardly mumbled that he would pick out a few items to sell. His voice was so meek and pitiful that I felt an urge to take everything back. But then what? If I didn't draw the line, what would happen to our family? Had I not indulged his bad habits, we wouldn't have found our spent. I also don't know if he had actually come to his senses. The next thing I heard was that our warehouse had caught fire, and both he and the buyer had gone missing.
I see. I understand. Amenoma Yuya came to purchase a weapon from Mr. Nagato.
At first, I assumed they must have, but my husband has never been one to negotiate. He never even haggles when he's out buying groceries, so... I don't know. He just did. Perhaps he's too afraid to come home. Even though I'm still a little mad at him, as long as he's willing to turn over a new leaf.
Please don't get upset. There could, if collecting things is a habit that but the information we gathered from the other side, this situation is getting a little confusing.
A little confusing? More like completely mystifying.
Let's try a change of scenery and see if we can piece together what we've learned. Rest assured, we'll notify you if we find anything.
Thank you so much. I just want him to come home.
The laughter, the magic, never growing old. But here in the silence, I hear your voice. In a world of echoes, I had no choice. 'Cause you were my
Based on the information we've gathered so far, I can only surmise that the fire at the warehouse likely played a part in how the situation Do you have any thoughts?
Well, Paimon was thinking... Nope, never mind. Paimon's brain needs to rest for a while. Over to you.
That is the most likely conclusion based on everything we know. However, in this case, only one of the... If this is indeed what happened, one fact that Mr. Nagato, the more I ponder it, right. Although the time frame seems to... Amenoma Yuya lacks a key.
Darn! We thought...
Let's keep going, since if we can solve the case, both Mr. Amenoma and Mrs.
Okay.
Let's head out of the city and check out the warehouse. Wait. I hear something ominous in the wind.
Oh! This must be another one of those sounds that only you can hear. As sketchy as that whole thing seems, you did put it to good use when we were chasing down that vision thief at Beto's tournament, so...
Now I'm picking up a strong scent in addition to the sound. It's right around here somewhere.
But there's nothing here.
It's gone now, but it felt very much like that ancient presence in Inazuma. The remnants, indeed. But this unexpected spring of inauspicious energy, we should remain vigilant.
So it's an underground warehouse.
The force is definitely coming from down below. The source of the Tatarigami energy has long since left this place. But judging from the concentration...
Mrs. Nagato said her husband used to hit...
It could well be that he was already under... From what I've been told... But most will develop a stubborn... Mr. Nagato had an interest in collecting to begin with.
So what should we...
Step back. I'll open the door and take a look. If we don't open this door, we can move no closer. You needn't worry. Both of us have faced far greater danger.
What's down there?
Everything's buried in debris. I can't... It looks like the fire caused a cave-in, reducing...
That was too scary! Paimon was...
All we can do now is keep searching in the direct... Two ordinary humans, entangled with the Tatarigami. Yes, let's go. Quiet your mind.
we told. The laughter, the magic never grows old. Here in the silence, I hear your voice. In a world of echoes, I had no choice. Cause you were my light, my guiding star. Though I'm just a traveler lost from afar. Memories whisper in the moonlight glow. In this echo chamber, missing you too much. But now the stars feel far away, and I'm stuck here feeling gray. Each heartbeat echoes your name, I'm lost in the silence, playing this game. Oh, calling, can't you see? You're the missing piece that's haunting me. So I'll keep walking through the night so cold, holding on to dreams while I watch them unfold. The journey continues till we meet once more, in the waves of the ocean on that distant shore. Now the stars feel far away, and I'm stuck here feeling gray. Each heartbeat echoes your name, I'm lost in the silence, playing this game. So I'll keep walking through the night so cold.
From this point, the trail appears to split into two. The main source of the Tatari gum.
Whoa! Look at all those fairy trails! They're acting really strangely.
Something seems to be drawing their attention. Let's take a closer look. Be free!
Settle down!
You two! Time to end them! Let's light it up!
Ugh! Look,
By the looks of it, well,
Taking blast and it's still filling memories like paper on the hill. Every sunset paints your face in the skies.
according to this letter, a conflict arose because Amenoma Yuya wanted to seize a blade. Yuya started the fire that destroyed the warehouse and wounded Mr.
so...
He was not only mortal, whatever traces there may have been. Yes, if Amenoma Yuya is a...
Right! So let's get moving!
I wouldn't be surprised if, for a practitioner of the martial, all the clues that it first... I have a hypothesis.
Wait!
I believe so. On with the search.
Adventure time!
He seems to have stayed here for a long time.
Why here? Is there anything special about this?
I'm not sure, but on closer examination, I sense that the aura may have lingered here at several different points in time.
Show yourself! It's no use hiding anymore.
Kaede Harakazuha. It's you, at last.
What's your problem?
Indeed, there should be... But what if instead of facing Amenoma Yuya, we are in fact facing the blade in his hand?
Now that you mention it, it is whoa! Surely you don't mean...
Tatarigami energy often lodges itself within physical objects, then works to subtly affect any living organisms in it. The blade has resided in Mr. Nagato's warehouse for many years, affecting his, or rather, as a means to occupy Amenoma Yuya's body.
You're sharper than I thought. You've already deduced the truth of the matter. Many, many years ago, I was forged by a famed bladesmith of the Ishin tradition. I was his pride and joy. In me, he placed all his hopes and dreams. As a descendant of the Kaedehara clan, you should be able to guess our greatest regret.
I presume it has something to do with the Raiden Gokaden.
Indeed. At that point in time, he failed to live up to the Raiden Shogun's expectations. In the end, all he could do was to flee the nation by sea. He was a bladesmith of great renown, a master of his craft. There was nothing that he could not accomplish. All he needed was more time and a little faith. And sure enough, in the end, he achieved what he had set out to do. He not only bestowed upon me the greatest of in her conceit, the Raiden Shogun lost not only the single the people of the time in which I was born. After the death of my creator, I decided to leave Snezhnaya and began my long quest to return to the distant land of Inazuma. Moving from, I seek but one thing: to face the full force of the Raiden Shogun's blade and prove my power.
So Amenome Yuya was not your first victim. Tell me, what happens to those you've possessed when you've finished using them?
My hosts? Who cares what happens to them? They are but tools that serve my... When they got tired, or injured, or unusable, I hopped to the next one in line. All I needed them for was to take me back to Inazuma.
You're awesome!
After I returned to Inazuma, I decided to bide my time in Nagato's warehouse until Amenome Yuya handed himself over to me on a silver platter. At long last, I'm approaching my journey's destination. By Amenome Yuya's body, I have found you. And by your hand, I shall defeat the Raiden Shogun. Kaedehara Kazuha, you stood against the Raiden Shogun's Muso no Hitotachi. There can be no other to serve as my host for what is to come. Now, give your body...
Everybody stand back!
Go! You're free now!
Bow your head. Be right
Fulfill our pact!
The tides beckon.
Settle down. Do not stand in my way, or I will strike you down.
Your bluff's fooling no one. You've lost.
Lost. I can never lose. It is this body that has reached its limit. Not even if you defeat me here, the one who falls will not be me, but this man. He is but a puppet that can be replaced. The end result is the same. I will end this wretch's life before you can lift a finger. And even if I were to lose my physical form, it is but a small setback. My consciousness shall endure by any means necessary and any medium available. I shall return and fulfill my...
Your fighting style. It is indeed the forms of Ishin art, but from your movements, I sense only hatred and arrogance, as well as a thinly veiled mania and despair.
Really? You can tell all that just from his moves?
As I've mentioned before, the forms of Ishin art convey the user's thoughts and feelings. Since the blade is currently possessing Amenome Yuya's body, its movements express, if you ask me, the mania is probably due to your desperate...
Are you trying to claim that I am helpless without you? On his deathbed, he passed to me all of Ishin art's secrets. The little that you know barely scratches the surface. In that regard, why would I ever need your help?
Because all of that is in the past. I've been wondering why you've not caused more trouble in all the years that you've been in Inazuma. If you are indeed a cursed blade, now that I've seen inside your mind, everything finally makes sense. You weren't biding your time. You were After all the time that's passed, you have grown weak. To the point that you are now unable to acquire a new host without making physical contact.
Oh, that's right. Paimon remembers now. Mr. Nagato had a habit of never touching his collectibles.
Only when Mr. Nagato witnessed his wife's distress and decided to sell his collectibles did you finally have an opportunity to reach out to Aminome Yuya and make your escape.
What of it?
Well, that brings me to my second point. There's a despair in you that is so strong it threatens to overwhelm you. You were determined to fulfill your maker's ambition, whatever the cost. But this ambition is too grand and too heavy for you to... I think you realized your limitations long ago. But the way I see it, what began as an ambition has long since become a delusional fantasy.
What would you know about any of this? I'm just one step away from a...
You returned to Inazuma to prove the unparalleled brilliance of Ishin art. But to make this arduous journey, you committed countless atrocities and showed a blatant disregard for human life, even if you were to sever that divine light. Is this truly the outcome that your maker would have desired? Sure, you inherited the secrets of Ishin art, but even as you made your journey to honor this legacy, you treated the ones who wielded you as mere tools to do your bidding. How could you possibly unleash the full potential of Ishin art when you act in perfect discordance with the principle of harmony between...
Silence, you blabbering fool! I must achieve my goal. This was his life's dream, and the very purpose for which I will concede that you are most perceptive. You see my predicament clearly.
And you should face reality.
Easy for you to say. Facing reality, I have no need of anything that would stand in my way. Not hesitation, not self-reflection, and certainly not... It is pointless to argue further.
How stubbornly you stick to your... I do not believe for a second that you can challenge the almighty Shogun in your current state. So let us make a bet.
What? Surely you're not planning to agree to his demand.
Very well. Then find yourself some enemies with whom you wish to cross blades. A taste of my power will more than once we have dealt with them, we shall proceed to Tenshukaku.
And as for your end of the bargain, if you lose, you must release Aminome Yuya from your control.
I accept.
Don't do this, Kazuha!
This is the only way to save Aminome Yuya. The Cursed Blade's strength is currently very weak, and I sense he's hesitating. This suggests his heart is still not complete. The power of the Tatarigami lies in intensifying existing obsessions. This is the reason, even if things take a turn for the worse, I still have you both here with me. We have a chance here to save an innocent victim.
Your disdain for me betrays your woeful ignorance now.
Kazuha?
I felt a little dizzy at first, but it's all right. So far, this was as I expected. I will.
What should we do next? Have you got a
We'll find some enemies. Although this blade has endured much turmoil, it probably hasn't experienced many real fights. If a blade built for Ishin art cannot enter a state of harmony between blade and bearer, it cannot unleash its true power. If he wants to avoid reality, then we need to fight until he has no choice but to face it. He shouldn't last long in an intense combat.
Wait a minute! Paimon remembers hearing about something from the adventure. Since the Takasukasa clan abandoned that secret base, it's been held by Ronin ever since.
All right.
What about Aminome Yuya?
The blade says he'll let Aminome Yuya trail us silently. Although he hasn't regained his own consciousness yet, he is not in any immediate danger.
Are we sure this is a good idea? Okay, fine.
Back to the stories we told. The laughter, the magic, never growing old. But here in the silence, I hear your voice. In a world of echoes, I had no choice. 'Cause you were my light, my guiding star. No, I'm just a traveler lost from afar. Memories whisper in the moonlight glow. In this echo chamber, missing you too much. But now the stars
I'm tired already.
Walking through the night so cold, holding on to dreams while I watch them unfold. The journey continues till we meet once more, in the waves of the ocean on that distant shore.
Got a job for me?
Away, and I'm stuck here feeling gray. Each heartbeat echoes your name. I'm lost in the silence, playing this game. So I keep walking through the night so cold.
Leave everything on this journey to me.
Time to get kicked. There's more!
Wind Strider!
Let's get down to business.
Chasing shadows, we were never slow. But now the stars feel far away, and I'm stuck here feeling gray. Heartbeat echoes your name, I'm lost in the silence, playing this game. You're my light, my guiding star. Now I'm just a traveler, lost from afar. With every heartbeat, I crave your touch. In this echo chamber,
As one with wind and cloud.
How are you feeling?
I'm alright. The blade is performing largely as I expected. Having gone so long without proper use and maintenance, it's become very difficult to use. Though he's making every effort to persevere, I do not think he can last much longer.
Something else on your mind?
How strange. Rather than trying to control me, he's instead trying to match my fighting rhythm. Let's keep going.
Time to go. Let's get down to business. Wait. More. Let's get down to business. Adorn my night. That hurts.
Whoa! Something's up with the blade!
I can sense that his strength is slowly fading away. He cannot hold out much longer.
But what would that do to Aminoman?
I will be careful with it. He's still trying to achieve his goal.
Time to go.
Wind Strider!
That won't work.
Clouds high. The birds call!
Are you okay? It looked like you were really struggling.
Yes. And it looks like he's reached his limit.
Shane's grown a bit dimmer again.
Perhaps this time we'll finally have a chance.
True form? What are you talking about? Is this the same blade as before? It looks...
If you choose to continue in the state you're in, you wouldn't even be able to beat Samurai and Kairagi, much less the almighty Shogun. Maybe you did truly wield power to rival the Shogun's light when first forged. But the long journey from Snezhnaya back to Inazuma has left you battered and broken. It barely needs stating anymore. Your ambition is a flight of fancy. I finally figured out why it was that you agreed to my bet. You wanted to reach a state of harmony with me. For perhaps then you would still be able to wield commendable power. But regrettably, we are nothing alike. I will never understand your obstinacy and cruelty, nor can I empathize with the one who made you. The only one who truly understood you had already passed away by the time you were born.
Huh? What's that supposed to
Here they are! Take them down!
Where do they keep coming from? Yup, we can help!
Don't worry. I'll use my own blade. It's just more of the same.
Let's get down to business!
Time to go.
You fought way better with your own sword.
You are a true Kaedehara in flesh and in spirit. Though we fought briefly together, you have seen me for who I really am. No one knew anything of my story throughout my travels, nor did I tell it to anyone. You are the first person to... I thought that if I could achieve Ishin harmony with you, perhaps there would still be a ray of hope for me.
But in this too, you have failed.
Indeed. No matter how hard I tried, I could not attain that perfect harmony that your personal blade does with you. Too much time has passed. My physical state is poor, and without proper maintenance, I can only disguise my true appearance behind an outer sheen. Yours is the blade that took on the Muso no Hitotachi. And what a magnificent blade it is. Perhaps I shall never reach that level of glory.
Actually, this is just a generic blade that I picked up during my travels in Liyue. Forging and maintenance are both important for a blade, but they are not everything. This blade has traveled the land with me for many years, and we have formed a close bond during that time. Plus, in the moment that I most needed it, I received aid from another power. Skill, blade, determination, and desire. All these must be aligned in the practice of Ishin art. There is something else I must tell you. Though your maker may not have been aware, your ability to possess your own consciousness derived from the power of the Tatarigami. Tatarigami is a malevolence from the ancient pact. Though you tried to cooperate,
I sensed it.
I resisted its tempt. I feel a great sense the moment you embarked on this. You have known this.
He gave me everything. How could I possibly? I said to him, do not worry. How could I go?
I believe our bet is now settled. I have...
Where are you going, Kazuha?
He now has neither the ability nor the motivation to cause further harm. Let's give him some time to reflect. When I touched the hilt for the first time, it's as if I was transported to a strange dimension. It was somewhere I've never been. A bladesmith lay quietly on the bed. His frail face barely visible. A newly forged blade lay by his side, listening attentively to his final words.
Wow. That was the blade's memory, wasn't it?
Indeed. While in exile in Snezhnaya, the bladesmith eventually learned the truth behind everything that had happened. The Ishin art had been dealt a devastating blow by the desertion of its best smiths. He spent the rest of his life in the forge, not to vent his frustration and hatred, but to atone for his actions. The truth behind everything that had happened. Regret at being tricked by the Fatui, but he could never again return to his homeland. His sole wish was to one day return his single, proudest creation back to the land of his birth. So he instructed this sentient blade all he wanted to.
So that's what... After that, the blacksmith...
Right. This blade has come. Yes, time would not wait. He seems to have come.
When I look back, I once told him that I would cut the darkness. Not only did I fail to fulfill his ambition, I also defiled it.
You are finally seeing reality clearly.
Since we agreed to the terms of the bet, I will honor the agreement and release Amenoma Yuya. But I still cannot bring myself to forsake his ambition. It is the entire purpose for my existence. So, may I ask you to help me fulfill the ambitions of myself and my creator?
Hey! Now you're adding yours into the...
It has to be done in my physical form as well as the knowledge.
His attitude... What do you think, Kazuha?
Let's hear it.
Thank you all. When I was first forged, my maker was already terminal. Alas, nor have I at my fights were devoid of any noble. You are a fine warrior.
Oh,
I will release. You must have.
Understood.
I see. He used my body to inflict harm on others. I utterly despise him and his actions. But since he stayed true to your agreement by releasing me, he must still have some remaining semblance of honor. If a duel can help to set this state of affairs in order, I am willing to put myself forward. I do not wish to be a mere victim in this story.
There's no need to worry. We'll vouch for your innocence to the Tenryu Committee.
Thanks for your help. Who knows how this would have ended without your intervention?
All right, then let's move on. More Ronin could appear at any moment. We can't stay here. In any case, for a final duel, I think we should aim for a greater sense of ceremony.
My guiding star. Now I'm just a traveler, lost from afar. With every heartbeat, I crave your touch. In this echo chamber, missing you too much. Darling, can't you see the missing piece that's haunting me? The clock keeps ticking, blasting, it's still floating memories like paper on the hill. Every sunset paints your face in the skies. Yet every sunrise brings those goodbye light. This is a fake app. Please go to suno.com/iOS. suno.com/Android to make music for free with the real Suno app.
This reminds Paimon a bit of the Crux Clash. Yep, we still keep still. Are you ready?
Ready? Okay. Successor of Ishin Art, Kaedahara Kazuha.
Successor of Amenoma Art, Amenoma Yuya.
Honored to cross blades with you.
It is my honor.
Wind Strider!
As one with wind and cloud!
Thank you for the experience, although he appears battered and broken. In your hands, it seems he's regained a glimmer of brilliance, his sense of savage cruelty.
You also fought well. And there are a few things that I shall leave him to tell you himself.
I must apologize to you for all that has transpired.
You need not seek my forgiveness, nor do I have the right to forgive you on your victim's behalf. It is too late for all of that.
I do not wish for forgiveness. I only hope that you will see my transgressions as mine alone and not let them stain the legacy of Ishin art. I strayed far from the straight and narrow path, but the Ishin art still has a worthy successor in Kaedehara Kazuha. I beseech you, please understand this.
Yes. I too trust Mr. Kaedehara to do the right thing.
Thank you, successor of Aminoma art.
This blade has also told me that he has another wish. He would like to visit the Aminoma smithy. Maybe we can go back there together.
What does he want to go there?
I'm not sure, but I think...
Show no mercy! Lolling! Beast Papa! Get...
Bow your head. Let the mighty be humbled.
Teamwork is dreamwork!
Silence!
You're dead meat!
I could make a tidy sum selling some of this.
Every sunrise brings us goodbye light. This is a fake app. Please go to suno.com/iOS or suno.com/Android to make music for free with the real Suno app. Back to the stories we told, the life of the magic never growing old. But here in the silence, I hear your voice. In a world of echoes, I had no choice. 'Cause you were my light, my guiding star.
I am sorry to have troubled.
A prized Ishi. But I have some good.
Really?
Yes. Badly. And now that Hyuya is back.
I think I know what you want.
What's wrong, Kazuha? Is the blade whispering in your...
Yes. He said he wants to take control of...
What? No way!
He tells me that he's thought of enough. I have decided to let him do it.
Guess there's nothing we can...
Thank you. I will explain my reason. Okay. I am ready. Let us begin. Please, stay true to your promise.
My power is almost spent. Without him, my eventual demise is inevitable. But if I abandon the future to give everything I have in this moment, my physical form can be forged anew.
Everything? You mean...
Yes, the cost is my entire consciousness. You were right. There's nothing that I can accomplish now. But there's still a chance for Ishin art. Once remade, I will be a valuable resource for your studies. Ishin lives on, and its finest hour is yet to come. Even if I am not the one to prove its might to the Shogun, as long as it is an Ishin blade, crafted by Kaedehara hands, it will still fulfill his very wish. Thank you, son of the Kaedehara clan. Over the years, my real name has been forgotten by all. I'm ashamed to utter it, yet it remains strong in my mind. Kagotsuribe Ishin. This name is now yours to keep.
Rest in peace.
So, that's why he said it had to be done in that order. His consciousness will disappear forever after fulfilling the Blade's...
Kagotsurube Ishii. It seems like deep down he disapproved of his own actions, and thus chose to bury this name deep. Only in the final moments, before his consciousness faded, was he willing to entrust it to another.
Seems like he really wanted to fulfill...
The same fervent ambition that gave him the motivation to keep speaking for myself. I'd rather see him recognize and atone for his mistakes. I understand. Perhaps this is a flaw in my person. Hearing his wish to your quest to face the gods and trace your sibling inspires me in the same way. After everything I've seen, perhaps these pursuits fascinate me a little more than they should.
Kazuha?
I will continue to support you from this point on. Know that you will have my assistance whenever you need it.
Wait! Shouldn't we all...
Oh, and it's also time to give him a
You've returned. The Tenryou Commission has already attended to the danger at the warehouse.
Wow! You sure kept your ear to...
Then we needn't recount all the details again. Now, as to your earlier offer, I wish to give you my answer. Please take a look at this blade.
What's this?
Kagotsurube Ishii, a weapon crafted using a long-lost blade forging art of the Kaidahara clan. By means of a series of fortuitous events, I was able to recover and restore him. I also promised him that I will continue to study and pass on the secrets of Ishin art. And so, it looks like I will likely continue with my journey across the nations, learning more about this blade as I go.
I see.
The Kaidahara clan has always been a family of bladesmiths, so it is only proper for me to continue on this path. Were I to accept your goodwill, I may find myself embroiled in conflicts between the shogunate and Sangonomiya. That would not suit me.
You misunderstand. That was most certainly not our intent.
I am aware, but I still desire to continue walking my own path.
Very well, I can understand. Then let's pretend this offer was never raised. However, if you should ever change your mind or find yourself in need of the Shogunate's assistance, please do not hesitate to inform me.
Great. Thank you for your generosity.
Where will you travel to next, Pat?
I'll probably... As for my next destination, let's see where the wind takes me.
Feel free to modify any sections or let me know if you want to explore different themes or styles.
You must have a whole bunch of questions after our last conversation with Nahida. I'm always ready to ask her a million more questions.
Chasing shadows, we were never slow. But now the stars are fading away, and I'm stuck here feeling gray. Each heartbeat echoes your name, I'm lost in the silence, playing this game. 'Cause you are my light, my guiding
Wait,
star.
about this...
I'm just a traveler, lost from afar. With every heartbeat, I crave your touch. In this echo chamber, missing you too much. Oh, darling, can't you see the missing piece that's haunting me? The clock keeps ticking, but I stand still, floating memories like paper on the hill. Every sunset paints your face in the skies. Yet every sunrise...
And as for your sister... So many questions.
Come on, serious suggestions, please. I'm not trying to write a thriller here. It's supposed to be an essay, you understand? An essay. That means facts and logic.
Well, if it's facts and logic you're after, you shot yourself in the foot with your choice of research topic, didn't you? The Tatara Suna mystery. When so much remains unexplained, there's little to be objective about. Unless, of course, you restrict yourself to textual criticism.
Yeah, well, this is my teacher's area of research. I can't change that. But it's fascinating enough without having to sensationalize it, don't you think? The strange location, the missing details, a mysterious person. I want to write my essay on something interesting, and I'm interested in getting to the bottom of all this. That's the only reason I came to you.
Yes, you came to me, so all the more reason to take my advice. The fact is, it's the dramatization that will make people want to read it. There's no getting around that.
Okay, but...
Did one of them just mention Tatarasuna? But that's all the way in Inazuma! Is it just Paimon, or is it kinda unusual for someone in Sumeru to want to write a paper about... Great! Let's go find out what this...
Alright, I guess I'll go with my textual criticism and your editorial. Ugh, if only we knew where to find that traveler. From what they say about him, this seems like the kind of thing he'd know about.
Oh, you're the...
Hey, what's with that face? Don't believe us?
No, of course I believe you. Actually, I first heard about your great exploits when I was still in Inazuma. This is my first time coming face to face with you and your mysterious silver-haired companion. I couldn't believe my luck, and out of force of habit, I started, examining the evidence. All right.
So what, for the love of... Sorry, we don't get out much, so our social skills are kinda lacking. Traveler, I hear you've helped many people a great deal and been to many places. Would you be able to tell us about Tatarasuna?
Actually, we don't know much about that place either. In fact, we only came over here because we heard you talking about it and wanted to learn more.
I see. My teacher chose this area of research as a personal challenge. He said it's difficult to get into because even Inazumans don't know much about Tatarasuna's past. But who'd have thought that...
If you don't mind, I'd love to show you all my outline for the book I'm writing about Tatarasuna.
Hold on, Sawada. Don't you think that's a bit of a deep dive or a first read?
Well, fair point. In that case, please ease yourselves in gently by taking a look at Akaba's latest essay.
Let me give you some background. This all started with the discovery of some records in Tatarasuna. The writings mentioned someone by the name of Mikoshi Nagamasa, who crafted a fine blade. But in the end, he threw it into a fire to destroy it, and killed his servant Katsuragi. Why? Well, no one knows. Apart from the swordmaker, his servant, and the one who wrote this all down, the records also mention a kabuki mono. This seems to be an Inazuman word for an eccentric stranger. Someone who dresses funny or acts in an unusual way.
That's right. Akaba's teacher has spent quite some time researching these events on the ground. This kabuki mono lived in Tatarasuna for a while before disappearing without a trace. And shortly afterwards, as Akaba mentioned, things got pretty ugly.
So first this strange person goes missing, then a murder happens? Seems kinda fishy to Paimon.
Yes, my thoughts exactly. So I helped out too. I asked everyone I could think of if they knew anything about what happened back then. And wow! Did I get lucky!
Stop shouting!
This part's important. I just wanted it just so happened, even back then.
Wait, so there...
That's right! What's...
Oh, the swordsmiths? Yeah, like Ishin art and so on?
Wow, yes. You really know your stuff. That makes things easier. So basically, this Niwa was a distant relative. Something then seems to have happened in...
Kinda hard.
Sawada, you left out the...
Oh, yes!
Get to the point.
According to information acquired by...
Puppet?
Aha!
No!
I agree. It...
Oh, and please read my essay draft. Sawada was encouraging me to... Oh, how about...
Wait, you're hard to just mix.
Akaba, besides.
Good point. Okay.
We have some other stuff.
All right. Thank.
Hey, so that thing they were talking about. Okay, then even if we did know something about it, we probably couldn't share it with them, huh? After all, we kicked his butt and got him locked up. Information about people like that is usually super confident. If you ask Paimon, Akaba should just pick a different topic. There must be as many essay topics as there are trees in the forest. There's no point in... Hey, did you see that? He literally just went by. Over there. It looked like... the Balladeer! No, it can't have been. He got locked up. Oh, quick, let's catch up and see. You can save it all apart. I already know you lied. Oh, no, don't even try. Watch the flame in me ignite. You didn't wanna walk the plank. But the way you came, baby, it was dark, it was hard to see, and that's when a spark lit inside of me. Oh, I was lost from reverie. One day you will see what you made of me. Traveler, Paimon, there you are. Nahida! Bad news. We just saw the Balladeer strolling around in public. Did he escape or...
Sure enough, you're here.
Hey! What are you doing in the sanctuary of Surasana? Aren't you supposed to be last? I know you must have a lot of questions. Please, allow me. It was my idea to set the Balladeer free. We made a deal, and he's gonna do some investigation in Irminsul for me. A deal? You sure you trust?
What did you expect? Why do you think Sumeru would keep me around otherwise? Or maybe killing me is all you can think about. But if that's the case, why haven't you done it already?
Don't flatter yourself. It was... Nahida said there's still some mysteries in you to figure out.
Ah, so if it were up to you, you'd finish the job? Guess I had you all wrong. There I was thinking you were just getting cold feet.
Well, that escalated quickly. Not a good start. Could I ask you all to please calm down? But Paimon's worried about you, Nahida. Don't let him trick you.
It's not every day you see people questioning the God of Wisdom's judgment. Just when you think you've seen it all.
Don't you dare try to drive a wedge between us! As long as the terms are reasonable, I don't think there's a problem in making a deal. Even with the Balladeer.
Well, I for one have no reason to doubt you. Considering you even struck a deal with the doctor.
Yes, one in which I gained valuable information. You'll come to understand more about that in the fullness of time. The Balladeer's power was all but completely spent after your battle. He's no longer strong enough to be a strategic threat to us. That puts him in quite a precarious position. Plus, he's a former Harbinger with knowledge of many of the Fatui's sensitive secrets. Being stuck here in Sumeru could make him a sitting duck, depending on how the Fatui plan to respond. Wait a second. Former? You mean he's not a Harbinger anymore? I take no pleasure in saying this, but it seems as if the doctor had no intention of welcoming back a loser, so...
Sometimes it's you using them, other times it's them using you. Most human relationships are this way. Certainly all the stable ones are. That's how it was between me and the Fatui, and also between each of the Harbingers. So as long as you have some value to offer, nobody will ever abandon you. But after recent events, even I have to admit that I'm not worth quite what I used to be. Well, if the Fatui are gonna reevaluate my utility, I need to have a backup plan for myself.
As we discussed, I don't like causing harm to living beings, and you said you need protection. So, why not join forces with us?
I think these two have made their objection to that idea fairly clear, don't you? and they're your friends. So I guess you'll be siding with them.
Yeah, obviously! Then let's put that discussion to the side for now. We still have time. Today can be a trial run. Where we go from here will depend on how well we manage to cooperate today.
All right, then I'll do what we agreed.
Good. Go now, and keep in touch. Nihira, are you... Yes. I have my reasons for this decision. In fact, I'm largely doing it for your benefit. Yes. As I told you once before, there's information about your twin in Irminsul. Oh, yeah. Actually, that's the whole reason we came to see you today. So, you have an up... You may remember me mentioning that the Fatui had not included your twin's details in the Descender category. This is an extremely important point. It's possible that the Fatui have other information that even I don't know about. And since the Balladeer used to be one of them, he'll be better acquainted with this information than I am. He was granted the power to connect with Irminsul when he almost became the god of a new era. Even though he no longer has the Gnosis, some traces of its power remain in him. He can still connect. The amount of information in Irminsul is vast beyond description. Sifting through all of it without knowing what to look for would take too long. So I asked the Balladeer to search in Irminsul for any information about the Descenders. Exactly! Or what if... I understand. But sometimes, at how things will go in the future, our minds have connected several times before. There is a corner of your heart reserved for an intense longing. A feeling of being all alone in the dark, searching for the one candle whose light still burns. As Sumeru's deity, it is my responsibility. If this deal with the Balladeer can give you... It's my pleasure. I was going to contact you about that, but then you suddenly showed up on your own accord. It seems like we have a telepathic connection. In fact, I was going to ask you to supervise the Balladeer on my behalf while he carries out even though he only has a fraction of his full power left, that's still a fraction of a former Harbinger. If you could accompany him, of course I'll be there to help guide you through. Great. Prepare yourselves. Wow. It looks pretty different here compared to last time. The colors are gentler. Guess that must be because Sumeru's...
Look at that. Hot on my heels. You know, you didn't have to cut your catch-up short just to keep me company. Oh, but I guess you panicked when you realized that I might enter Irminsul ahead of you.
Shut your beak, jailbird! No way a prisoner gets to be so smug!
I understand that prisoners have to put up with harassment from the guards, but right now, I'm on temporary release, so maybe you should think about backing off a little.
Sounds like a successful rendezvous. I need to be quite clear about something. In a few moments, you'll be entering into the innermost region of Irminsul. It is an environment like no other, and the most important place in all of Sumeru. Unlike anywhere else, Irminsul's inner region consists exclusively of I know there are many grievances between you. Fine. Let's call it truth.
Let's cut each other a little Per my agreement with Lesser Lord Kusanali, I'll be at the front. It's my job to lead the way and get rid of any obstacles in our path.
You sure?
If there are no further objections, or did you need some time to mentally prepare yourselves?
Ugh, the snark on this guy. It's unbearable.
We can start now.
Irminsul access granted. Initiating connect... Is this a small sapling? Oh, darn it! Come on, let's catch up with him. Wow. So this is... Ooh. Paimon's never seen anything like this.
Irminsul is closely intertwined with the entirety of Teyvat. Every bit of information flowing here means something. Pick your jaws up off the floor. It's time to go.
Why is it that Paimon just wants to do the opposite of everything he said?
Lesser Lord Kusanali, we will now proceed to the heart of Ermin.
Can you still sense where the heart of Irminsul is?
Yes. Permission to begin searching for information there?
Permission granted. Go ahead.
Let's go. Stay close. Don't go running off.
Hey, so say we did go running off in here.
I was just imagining the look on your travel companion's face if you went and got lost. Anything's possible in here. You can't rule anything out. So if you want to stay safe, your best option...
These sapling things have spread out.
Those are all packets of information from inside Irminsul. Be careful not to touch them.
It looks the same in every direction. No wonder he mentioned about getting lost. Huh. What do you know? He was actually telling the truth. Is he mocking me again? What is it this time?
There's a time and a place to lie, but this definitely isn't it. So why don't you relax your guard a little? We're here.
What a huge...
Lesser Lord Kusanali,
Good, you made it. Are you
ready when you are.
Then please begin. Preparing to access cognitive currents.
The Balladeer's actually doing what Nahida tells him. Guess he must want to stay alive.
The rest is up to you. If you discover anything at all, make sure to
Will do.
Huh. For once, we're the ones with nothing to do.
Traveler, Paimon, would you like to talk? Yes, I've also invited Paimon to join.
Huh? What the? We can talk to each other inside our heads?
That's part of it. Plus, we're all friends. There's nothing wrong with us talking like this once in a while.
Paimon's never tried this before. This is great! So, Paimon's been wanting to ask you something. Don't you think the Balladeer's a bit of a walking contradiction? He's always talking back, but he seems to listen to what you say.
As I've told you before, there are still some mysteries for him to resolve. Things that are clear as day to me, but that he has yet to understand. Perhaps today will be the day that he finds some answers. Well done. Smart and attentive as always. So, you made contact with that part of his mind. Well, it's true. Betrayal turned the ballad.
Paimon's got nothing to get under that guy's skin. Turns out, he can get hurt and angry.
Everyone has a history, Paimon.
Speaking of puppets, we ran into two people at the Academia today talking about an essay. Turns out their topic was about the Tatarasuna incident. Nahida, do you know anything about that?
If you mean the mysterious events, the kabuki mono and so on, yes. I know about all of that.
Really? Because from what they were saying, it sounded like lots of Tatarasuna's history is still unexplained. And most of the information we have now is just from people filling the gaps with their imagination. At least that's what they thought.
Oh? How interesting. Those two managed. So the Gese got it? Well, they guessed right about.
Must be a riveting conversation you three are having. Funny how all the good ones happen when I'm not involved.
What makes you think we're...
Don't insult me. You're having a private conversation without me. Obviously, I must be the topic of said conversation. Of course you do. You can't have your prisoner knowing too much.
So,
Still looking. Don't get your hopes up, though. You and your twin come from outside this world. It wouldn't surprise me if there was nothing on either of you in Irminsul at all.
Wait! How did you know about that? Did Nahida tell you?
It's not like we've never met before. And anyway, you're world famous. It'd be more surprising if I didn't know a few things about you. Right now, we have to keep the peace. I'm not interested in creating more misery for myself. And making cordial conversation is something I can manage. Huh?
This light. It looks similar to those saplings.
Anonymous data.
Hey, don't you forget the agreement. You have to share it with the... Shh.
Mr. Niwa, are you certain this is worth the risk? We are talking about Tatara Suna's furnace, after all. It may not pay to act rashly.
There's no one else who can enter the furnace. It has to be me.
Is that so? Well, since...
It's...
Whoa!
I have been in Tatara Suna for some time now. You have shown me great hospitality, as has Mikoshi Nagamasa. And indeed, under your leadership, Tatara Suna is a warm, welcoming place. Like a giant village. People are gainfully employed. Their lives have purpose. They are motivated. As I understand, the Raiden Shogun has, in recent years, eliminated much of the evil that plagued Inazuma. As for Tatara Suna, it was originally established as a means of safely disposing crystal marrow. The forging industry with crystal marrow as a raw material has since flourished, giving rise to generations of swordsmiths. Some world-renowned, others unknown, all passing on their legacy. Skills, blood, dreams. Every smith brought into this trade looks to find their purpose between steel and blade. That is why you accepted the proposal brought to you by myself and Akame.
Yes, well, were it not for you coming to Inazuma and happening to make Akame's acquaintance, the two of you never would have joined forces. And he would be the first to admit that there's no way he could have revolutionized our forging process like this on his own. At least not on the same timescale. You allowed Akame to take all the credit for a method that you jointly developed. He sold it to me, and now every piece of ore here is smelted using the new technique. Even now, you remain one of Tatara Suna's key consultants, working right here alongside us. I believe it is you, sir, who are truly responsible for the changes in our manufacturing and forging methods.
You flatter me. From the outset, I saw much that was commendable in the forging.
So you say, Escher.
My good sir.
I tried to resist thinking it was all connected, because I didn't want to speculate. And I didn't want to believe that things could turn out this way. What have we gained from adopting your new technology? Ominous black smoke? Mounting production problems? Worker fatigue and casualties are up and continuing to rise at an alarming rate. And recently, as you well know, someone died because of that strange filth inside the furnace. We've kept the truth from spreading outside, but still, I suspect you understand it better than I do. None of the people who went out to get help have come back. Now, our mutual friend, the Kabuki Mono, is taking the Golden Feather to Narukami Island to seek an audience with the Shogun. This is our last hope. But that doesn't faze you, does it, Escher?
I'm just surprised that you finally chose to be so sincere. I'm sure you've been harboring these suspicions for quite some time.
Mikoshi Nagamasa may have noticed that there was one common denominator among all these events. Namely you, Escher. But Mr. Mikoshi is more cautious than I. He does things by the book.
After all, Nagamasa is the adopted son of Mikoshi Torichio, the yokai struck down by the shogun's own hand. If he truly seeks to redeem his family's honor, an abundance of caution is well advised.
You're well informed on the subtleties of his situation for a mechanic all the way from Fontaine. Are you sure you're not a little overqualified?
Why, Mr. Niwa, are you suggesting I find a job as a diplomat? Sadly, I am so very attached to my craft.
Enough, Escher. I'm here because an evil force is raging inside the furnace. And someone needs to take your new device inside the... I'm in charge here.
Judging from the look in your eyes...
Drop the act! We're past that now. Whoever you are, it looks like your plan to destroy Tatarasuna has worked. I just want to know what you're still doing here. What's left? Don't you have all your answers by now?
Honestly, I'm just waiting for the right moment. A moment like this, where you finish talking and I stop you from entering the furnace.
You!
You're a little smarter than I initially gave you credit for. I thought I'd disguise myself exceptionally well. At least for the first few. It's a long journey from Inazuma to Font. And yet, despite all of that, you still fail to realize my true identity. And what I seek in Tatarasuna.
Did you really? Oh, but you're quite wrong. There is...
Whoever you're working for won't get away with this. They'll be found out. But... this makes no sense. What are you really
It's no trouble at all. Patience is a virtue which I have in abundance. This is all part of a carefully controlled... If you must know, I'm happy to divulge my true identity. I'm a Fatui Harbinger. Call me the Doctor.
The Fatui?
Just to create a minor inconvenience for you.
That's it.
Look how even the righteous soul is filled with venom when faced with its demise. My device functions precisely as you say. It is easier for a person to make no mistake, even without you.
He has no...
What a beautiful way to see the... Think of me. I say, Mr. Niwa, let's see what happens. Will you, Mr. Niwa? Jester, I have completed the task you gave me. I'd like to introduce...
Hey,
Dottore. Good.
Was that the Doctor? But why did we see things from his perspective?
When I touched the Doctor to confirm whether he'd eliminated all his segments, I read this memory in his mind. You have to admit, it must be the truth.
Maybe so, but it means nothing.
Does it? But this memory shows that Niwa didn't betray you. He never meant for you to be the one to take the device into the furnace. You know very well what that means. Even more so than I.
Let's give him some space.
We need to give him some time to process his emotions.
I'm still confused about the Tatarasuna incident. So, the Doctor was behind it, but why has that gotten him so worked up?
Nobody has ever deceived you like that, Paimon. It's natural that you find it difficult to understand. Perhaps he needed to learn this someday. So now you have the complete picture. Katsuragi took the Kabuki Mono to live with the people of Tatarasuna. Later, The doctor showed up, disguised as the mechanic from Fontaine. And that's when the trouble began. It was all a horrific experiment planned by the doctor. Everything he did was just to plant seeds of disaster in Inazuma that would bear fruit in the future. Of all the unwitting participants in the doctor's experiment, the balladeer became the main test subject. After the events you just saw in that memory, the doctor put Miwa's heart into the device and handed it to the balladeer. Then, he instructed him to enter the furnace and absorb all the filth caused by the smelting process. The load was far beyond what he expected, but the balladeer survived. He left the furnace in sheer exhaustion and said to the mechanic, "This device seems to have protected me. What's in it?" The mechanic answered, "Miwa fled this place for fear of punishment, but he left you a gift. He said it's the one thing that you've been looking for." He took it straight from the chest of one of his innocent servants. The mechanic removed the withered heart from the device as he spoke. The balladeer was stunned that such unthinkable cruelty had brought him the thing he'd been longing for his entire life. A heart acquired through cold-blooded murder is a cursed thing, but it had protected him from the filth. He thought Miwa had completely betrayed him, and yet this very betrayal had ensured his survival. Overwhelmed with anger and sorrow, the balladeer threw the heart to the ground and left Tatarasuna without looking back.
Holy moly! So the doctor killed an innocent man and pinned everything on the victim? That's terrible!
Yes. Only if he understands this can he choose it.
Tottori, you brazen-faced... Niwa didn't run from justice. You killed him.
Shall we see how he's doing? Hey, you alright? That's a scary expression.
Are you worried about me? If we didn't have such a history, I'd almost... It won't. I'll keep my end of the deal.
Hey, are you investigating the stuff we want to know about?
That's why we're here. But unfortunately, there's no information about the Descenders in Irminsul.
Even if you can't find anything, that seems to confirm it. Irminsul does not keep records on the Descenders. Anyone who comes from beyond this world is not counted as part of Tevat.
Oh, does that mean we have to leave empty-handed?
Don't thank me just yet. You look really upset. Well, since Irminsul was a dead end, I guess I can share some other info that might interest you.
Huh?
The reason why there are records about your sister in Irminsul. It might have something to do with Conria. Apparently, Conria was her first destination when she arrived in this world. Plus, she only came to this world because the heavens responded to the summoning.
The heavens
The Jester told me this himself. You can take his word on this. He was a royal mage in Conria, and lived with your sister for a time. I don't know the details. It's up to you whether you want to believe me. All I can say is, I wouldn't lie to you about this. Did you get all that, Lesser Lord Kus?
Yes.
Does this info count towards my mission? It wasn't from Irminsul, but was it valuable?
Very valuable.
Good. In that case, I'll take some time for myself now.
Huh? What have you done?
Lesser Lord Kusanali was right. My power's all but completely spent. Even if I use all of the divine power left in me, I can't sustain this shield for very long. I shared a secret with you, and now you owe me. So in return, I'd like you to answer a question for me. Give me your hand. Can you hear my voice inside your head? No, I can't do anything like that anymore. At most, all I can do is exchange a few words with. So tell me, in this world, is it possible to change the past? Done.
Huh? What the? What happened?
Nothing. I was just thanking him for helping me. So long. I suggest you get yourselves out of here quickly.
Where are you going? Hey, wait up! Didn't you say not to go running off?
Fast reaction time. But I don't think we'll be seeing each other again. From this day forth, the names Balladeer and Kabukimono will cease to exist. Those who died in Tatarasuna because of me deserve another chance at life.
Hey, Balladeer!
You know, I never did like insects. Hordes of the puny things swarming together can be a real nuisance. And I enjoy nothing more than to stamp them out like the pests they are. But if a colony of harmless ants isn't threatening anyone, I guess they deserve to be left alone. Luckily, everything can be set right. It's time to solve this.
Balladeer! Uh-oh, he disappeared. Come on, we... Oh no, he's really gone!
Oh, can you hear?
Nahida!
Traveler, Paimon, Balladeer, what happened just now? I have a
It was the Balladeer's fault. He shut you out!
I didn't think he'd be capable of something like that with so little power left. Did he keep some of his power hidden when he was defeated? Or...
Where the heck did he go? Ugh, it's all our fault. We were supposed to...
Don't be. It's not your fault. Please, let me handle this from here. Even though... we're running out of time. Follow my lead and get out of...
We're out! And we're at... an inn or something?
This is an emergency. I'll have to ask you to stay here for now. Everything's arranged, and nobody will disturb you. I'm sorry, but...
An emergency? How bad is it?
Don't worry. If my assessment is correct, though there may be some minor disturbances, it won't lead to...
Her voice is gone. Paimon can't shake the feeling that something... He wants to change the past? But surely that's impossible! Wait, you can't just rewrite history. All that stuff happened already and it's like... Imagine Paimon drank all the water in this inn. Even if no one was there to see it, Paimon would sure as heck remember drinking it. So, what? Paimon's so confused. Huh? Ah! Sorry, Paimon accidentally... but erasing yourself from history? It's unthinkable. Is that really possible in Uh-oh. Paimon's had it with that little brat. There's no way he'll actually succeed, right? Otherwise... There's nothing we can do about it at this point. Hey, have you got any ideas on what we should... Seems like now there's nothing left for us to do but to go to sleep. But Paimon, so... How about... Alright, Paimon will start and Drayan too... talking about? Is that a food too? What's wrong? Their eyes are like saucers. Was it something kind? So, the balladeer. Is that someone's name? 'Cause... Okay, sure. Where are we going? Huh? Fine by Paimon, but is everything okay?
You can save your alibi. I already know you lied. Don't even try. Watch the flame in me ignite. You didn't wanna walk the plank.
Add Ast.
Ah, it's been a while. Of course. Go ahead. Oh. Now there's a question I wasn't expecting. The once renowned Raiden Gokuden, comprised of 5 branches. Amenoma, Futsu, Ishin, Hyakume, and Senju. The art of forging practiced by these 5 clans was first taught to them personally by the almighty Shogun. Over time, the 5 branches diverged from one another as generations of bladesmiths honed. Most of the great swordsmith clans of old have since fallen into decline, and for a long time, only the Amenoma branch kept its art alive. But fortunately, Kaedehara Kazuha recently returned to Inazuma and took up the mantle of the Ishin art. Now, 2 clans remain of the original if my memory serves me right. You yourself were present when he forged the Ishin.
Oh yeah, we were! We learned a bit about the decline of the Raiden Gokuden then too. It seems like...
That, my friends, in fact, this was not made known to me for most of my life. All these years, I knew of those great... He told me that, as we are both heirs to a branch of the Raiden Gokuden, it was right. There is no harm in telling you, but I must warn you, the Raiden Gokuden were the targets of a murderous rampage by a vengeful bladesmith.
Vengeful?
400 years ago, so I'm told, there was a catastrophic malfunction in Tatarasuna's furnace. One brave swordsmith heard the commotion and chose not to flee, but he rushed to the scene, hoping to prevent a disaster. Tatarasuna was home to a state-of-the-art forging and smelting operation in that day, and overseeing it was the armory officer. His surname was Niwa, though he had family ties to the Kaedehara clan. Knowing that they had just one chance to save countless lives, Mr. Niwa and the swordsmith leaped together into the furnace. The furnace quickly stabilized, but the smith's death, though heroic, dealt a devastating blow to his family. In his heart, the whole of Inazuma was culpable in his tragedy, powerless and destined. Alas, finally, in his fury, but when he came to that is why the Kaedehara...
Was there anything else you wanted to ask?
Kazuha? Why, yes. My pleasure.
Don't tell Pop. On to the next...
You can save your alibi. Oh no, don't even try. Watch the flame in me ignite.
We're here!
Traveler, it's been a while. If you're looking for the Commissioner and Miss Kamisato, I'm afraid
Are they out on business?
the commissioner is out on business.
What do you think? Shall we go in?
If it were anyone else, I couldn't allow it. But seeing as you're so close with the commissioner and Miss Kamisato, I think...
We'll be heading in then.
Hello, dears. Is there something you want? Of course, traveler. Yes, I know. What would you like to know? Oh, they're both very well indeed. Lately, Miss Kamisato has been rather busy attending all. As for the commissioner himself, well, you know, busy as ever. That much hasn't changed.
So pretty much business as usual on the Yasha.
Very much.
Well, got any more questions?
You're very Miss Kami-san, I must say.
Alright, goodbye for now. Great. Goodbye, ma'am. Don't worry, we'll...
All right.
Oh, are you two leaving already?
Yep, everything's taken care of.
Very well. See?
Do I have company?
What kind of person comes to a place like this and just spaces out?
Hey, I wasn't spacing out. I was pondering some problems.
Sure you were. Your eyes were glazed over, dude. You were a million miles away.
Why are you making fun of me? I told you I wasn't spacing out.
Oh, he said Tatarasuna.
Oh, is there something you want to know about my name's Xavier? Certainly do. I've researched the furnace here in some depth. If there's anything you want to know, just ask away. Like the back of my... Not only that, but I've met people in... Oh, I'm told that its history is one of the most...
A couple?
One was just a... They say he was a...
Hey, weren't you gonna ask Xavier something about Tatarasuna? Come on, ask already.
Oh, I didn't realize...
Me neither.
What brought this on? Sure, go ahead. A kabuki? I do know the... But sadly... Of course!
Oh,
Oh, you're Farewell.
Looks like you got all the information you're looking for. Sure, but what's up with you today? Whatever it is, keep your smile, Spinal Crocodile. Come on. All right, let's...
Hey, it's them!
Akaba, Sawada, you're still here?
Indeed we are. If you have a moment, we'd love for you to join us once...
We have time. What do you want to talk to us?
The same topic we discussed last time.
Still looking for more info about Tatarasuna, huh? Should we?
Unfortunately, we haven't made any real progress. Huh? Oh,
I presume you'll want to read mine as...
Well, what do you think?
Hey, Trav, remember how last time Akabo...
What did you find out?
It's a long story. Basically, we have some friends in Inazuki.
Wow, so many.
Well, well. So it...
Ugh. This new information...
Yes, okay.
And they're back at it.
Oh, so sorry.
You're welcome.
Keep us in the loop.
Will do. Nahida, we're here!
Traveler, Paimon.
Ugh, where to start? Paimon hasn't had a moment's rest this whole time. That night, we ended up
The Balladeer? You look troubled. Is there some... Traveler?
Hey, what's wrong? You look so upset.
That's quite a story. So, this puppet known as the Balladeer erased himself from Irminsul, hoping that he could change the past.
But how was he even able to...
As the Traveler said, he very nearly became Sumeru's deity. Admittedly, I remember it a little differently. I don't recall finding anyone inside the machine after we defeated it. Nevertheless, it does make sense. If someone were to successfully erase themselves from Irminsul, the world would change to reflect the new reality.
So, you believe this person really existed? And we just don't remember him because... Well, because he lived...
Yes. Theoretically speaking, it is possible to do this. But the Traveler comes from a world beyond to that. That's why there's no information about him in Irminsul, and it also explains why any changes to Irminsul wouldn't affect him. So if there's anyone in the world capable of retaining memories from a past that has been rewritten, it's you.
Paimon's having a hard time understanding this Balladeer guy's motivation.
I can only make inferences based on the information. Something else worrying you? Something that you can't share? It couldn't change the fate of the ones who had... Once the Balladeer realized he couldn't keep hating humans after that. The story makes sense. The Balladeer tried to reach that power then...
Yeah, it just feels so...
Please wait a moment. Found it. This should be the one. It turns out that I have a strange way of confirming everything he has told us.
What is it?
A record from a personal collection. It was tucked away in a corner. You should take a look.
Is this a fairy tale? Who wrote it?
I authored this record myself.
Huh? You wrote a fairy...
When combined with the Traveler's narrative, it's clear that this story is an allegory. Everything...
Hold on. So this record survived from the past?
Yes. Any information about the Balladeer or the Kabuki Mono and other records will have been changed. But I wrote this story in a way that means it was left intact. Changing the information in Irminsul changes to that, but Irminsul can't change information that was well hidden in advance. I guess I must have written this story as a backup before the Balladeer entered Irminsul.
That's incredible!
And sending the Traveler into Irminsul with the Balladeer must have been a further precaution. I knew he'd remember everything. This story is abstract enough that it still resonates with the present information recorded in Irm. But if we connect all the different pieces together, the true story that emerges is the one he told us. The now erased life of the Balladeer. There was once a lone monster draped in fox fur. Once in a while, the monster would take off its fox fur at night and lament to itself as it gazed at its reflection in the water. I am a monstrosity, yet they are too foolish to see it. I pity them. But the monster soon found solace when another came to live among the foxes who was not their kin. A kitten, carved from the wood of a white tree who had been abandoned by the humans. The kitten too wished to become a fox, but its tail was too slender and it could not grow a coat of richly colored fur. Yet when the other foxes saw this, they spoke words of comfort to the kitten. Even without a tail and fur like ours, you are still one of us. Furious at this happy resolution, the monster lit a fire on the mountain. The terrified animals panicked as the fire spread. The only way to extinguish the flames was to make a sacrifice. A gray fox stood up and addressed the monster. It said, "You are the cleverest among us. Surely you can help us find a way to solve this." The monster smiled, led the fox toward the fire, and murdered it. The gray fox's heart was turned into a beautiful drop of water, clear, spotless, and pure. The monster gave the heart of water to the kitten, telling him, "The foxes have decided. You are the one who must be sacrificed. Take this, quench the flames, and die for your fox kin." The fire was extinguished, but the kitten lived. It left that side of the mountain and found a little bird who had a broken wing. The two promised they would spend their whole lives together, but the little bird did not have long left to live. It passed away soon after. After burying the bird, the kitten left the mountain for good. Never again would it cherish a single creature, nor a single blade of grass that stood on that mountain. The kitten spent the nights wandering aimlessly, gnashing its teeth at the moon. How it wished to swallow the moon and devour the moonlight. If the world could only return to darkness, then it would finally be peaceful and content. I will become the new moon, the answer to everything. Then, no one will know that there were once birds, foxes, and cats in this world. And no one can know that they were different.
We solved it!
I remember now. This is not just the Balladeer story. It is his very own memories. I made a backup so that it would be preserved no matter what happened. To become a god, he was experimented on and modified countless times. It was brutal torture, and the only reason he was able to survive is that he was a puppet. This memory was extracted from him by the scholars. Presumably, they kept it to have something to defend themselves with. Creating a deity was just the first step. Some of them wanted to be able to control it. That's why they backed up his memory for later use. I buried it deep inside one of my own dreams, and then hid it inside an allegorical stories.
It's hard to believe that this person really existed. Little Paimon has no memory of him at all. He
He completely vanished! The balladeer agreed to help me look for information about the Descenders, and although he was unsuccessful, he still helped. Before he vanished, he confirmed an important detail. That Conria was where your twin first came into this world. We still don't know how the change to Irminsul will affect the scene.
It sounds like Paimon wouldn't like this guy a whole lot if he was still around. But still, Paimon doesn't like the way it all ended that much better.
This is why wisdom alone cannot answer all our questions. We look, we see, and we comprehend, but the question still troubles us. So the answer is not everything. People yearn to find the truth and then conquer the troubles they face. When you give someone the truth, you give them a chance to choose their own destiny. To others looking on, this may seem like a pointless endeavor, but for him, the chance to act on his desire to disappear must have meant a lot. Never forget that even when we walk beneath dark clouds along a road filled with suffering, the light of wisdom is always there, guiding us toward a better destination. And that is what you have been doing all along.
Yeah, Mihida's right. Cheer up! How about we go get something to eat? We can pick up this heavy conversation again later.
Good idea.
You got it! Let's go get a snack from one of the stalls in the Grand Bazaar! That'll be sure to lift our spirits. It must be really tough being the only one who remembers all that. But Paimon's... What should we eat first? Hey, are you gonna answer or what? Alright, whatever you want. Well, Paimon will be right here when you figured stuff out. What is it?
Excuse me, boss. There seems to be a small problem with the last bill. Look.
Hey! Hey!
Hmm? You mean me?
No, not you. That kid! Didn't you see? Little rascal grabbed him. Look, if you're gonna help out here, you can't keep spacing out, okay?
I wasn't paying close enough attention. I think you're right. Maybe...
Who's that guy? You know him or something? He's who?
You're a strange one, kiddo. I don't want to take advantage.
No, please.
You're welcome, I guess.
Leave it to me. I'll...
Stop. You don't want money.
That's right. We can talk more.
Hey, what do we do now? Okay, stay...
Yeah, this'll do.
Even though you say he's the valid... Oh, alright.
This should be enough. Guess I should wash them before I take them back. Huh? You two over there. Is there something I can help? You've been following me all the way from the city. I'd have to be blind not to notice. Have we met before? No, we haven't met. I have no recollection.
Are you absolutely...
Sorry, but I just can't take your word for it.
A puppet? What made...
Huh?
You were right! The look on his face!
I guess you do know me after all. That is not something I share with a lot of people. Look, I'm just a wanderer. But seeing as you've gone through all this trouble to track me down, I'm... Okay, but please let me deliver these goods.
Are you really working for that guy? He said you don't want any more for it. Is that true?
Yes, I ran into him out in the wilderness during a storm.
That's oddly...
Let me take these back. Then I'll come with...
Then let's return to...
Adventure time! Off we go! Adventure time! Off we go! Adventure time!
Here you go, boss.
Oh, you really went and picked some more.
Something's come up, and they need a...
I was just about to pay you anyway.
What?
I get it, okay? But look, it was poor. Imagine you were... But anyway, take it...
But I don't... No. Then I suppose this is...
Don't mention it, kid.
Thank you. All right, done.
Adventure time! Off we go!
What's wrong? Huh?
Hello. I do apologize for this.
We found this guy in the street, but he doesn't seem to remember anything. So, yeah, quite...
You say that you're trekking across Tevat to train yourself. Many other Inazumans who describe themselves in this way call themselves Shugenja. Why do you refer to yourself as a wanderer?
Well, it seems more relevant in my case. To me, it sounds like a plant with no... But these two claim that they know me, and that I have a hidden past unknown even to myself.
I wouldn't call it the past, but rather... this is I don't like to rely on using terms like this often, but in your case, it seems that it ought to be called, previous incarnation.
Oh, like a past life or something?
Yes, something far more distant than the past. So far away that you...
Okay, I have to ask. What was I like in my previous... hope you want to tell me, but you can't bring yourselves to say it. Looks like I didn't have the most wonderful existence in my previous incarnation. If it's that difficult to talk about, I have no doubt, but I'll be able to handle it.
Is truth something you care a lot about?
Yes.
Then I'll be straight with you. In your previous incarnation, you did many things that would be considered evil. You nearly died because of what other people did, and many died because of you. As a non-human being, you hated gods and humans alike. You drifted from place to place, never able to settle, even where you found status and identity. You adamantly believed that you were missing a heart. Actions rooted in persistence sometimes bear bitter fruit. Sometimes, you have to let parts of yourself go, or you'll never...
I gave everything I had, but it barely changed history at all.
In terms of the outcome alone, that's true.
I don't think I can judge everything I've heard purely in terms of right and wrong. Each choice a person makes belongs to a specific place and time, a chain of cause and effect, a cycle of karma and consequence.
That is the nature of truth. If one thing is right, its opposite must be wrong. And yet, dichotomies like this are not an...
It seems like my...
We're not trying to hurt your feelings or anything, but...
If we were enemies, why are you trying to help me find the truth?
This is so frustrating! This guy's supposed to be our arch enemy, but now he's just some random stranger we met on the street. He's got so much to answer for, but we can't make him talk because he doesn't remember anything.
Lesser Lord Kusanali, as the god of wisdom, I trust that everything you told me must be true.
Yes, it's all true. I can even show you the memories themselves, if you're willing.
Please, I want to see them for myself. I want to...
Even though it will cause your present self great mental anguish?
I'm just a puppet. With no heart.
Very well. Wait,
Don't worry.
Traveler, could I ask you to supervise him on my...
Oh, good point.
Understood.
Thank you.
This looks like Inazu.
Right now, you're in a dream I created using information extracted from your memory. These memories...
Sounds like an immersive
You don't need to do this for me.
We never give up halfway.
All right.
Wanderer.
Is that because...
You...
I hear footsteps.
This place is... No, there's... You're...
This man is...
And the rest is his...
In the original...
Let me get you out.
During the Tatarasuna incident, Niwa was murdered by the doctor, disguised as the second, but
Katsuragi seems like he was a good guy.
He looks like a warrior, but he has a kind face. Why couldn't he live a long and happy life?
Nagamasa, I found this young guy in a cave sealed off by a landslide. He doesn't remember his name.
Well, we need to call you something. I hear the workers are calling you the Kabuki Mono.
That's fine with me.
Katsuragi, report to Niwa. Tell him we have someone new joining us.
Adventure time! Yeah! Huh. Let's light it up! Huh. Adventure time! Adventure time! Off we go!
Huh? What are we doing back here? Whoa.
I was abandoned.
Okay.
I heard my mom and he kept coughing.
But you can't.
Yup, we're family now. We're gonna be
This child didn't have a name. Or rather, the balladeer didn't know what to call him. His father died before he could name him. After his mother died, the child stayed in their straw hut alone. Some of the neighbors helped to raise him. After leaving Tatarasuna, the balladeer ran into this child who didn't have a name.
What happened to the child then?
He died from his illness while he was still very young.
Hey! What's wrong? Say something! You promised me we could be family! You're no different from Niwa and all the others. You betrayed me too. The voices have gone. It looks like the memory ends here.
Let's keep going.
Adventure time!
You do realize you're blocking my path.
I come not to obstruct you. I've been waiting. What you are truly is a weapon. One that could be wielded with an iron will. Or continue to drift easily.
Are you trying to win me over?
Long-fated rebellion has begun. Why not take your place at the banquet and join those who shall feast?
Let's get it on!
Silence!
Use this
You two! Time to end that!
Settle down!
You asked for it!
That's this is trouble.
Hi!
Finally, some quiet.
Everybody stand back! Let's light it up!
Let the mighty be humble.
Can't run!
Fulfill our pact!
Well,
Bow your head.
I see through you!
Time to do my
Don't
work.
be a killjoy! We've only just begun! That all you got? You can't run! Well... Don't be a killjoy! We've only just begun!
Suffer the wrath of Easley!
I miscalculated.
This place is dark.
I'm in the original.
Such a creepy atmosphere. Hey, look over there.
Well, well, my fair lady. Is this rundown factory and these incompetent fools all for me? Wow. You shouldn't have.
Huh. What do you have to gain from belittling your subordinates? You might not want to admit it, but you are a part of this plan. Perhaps you find fighting in the abyss to be a more meaningful use.
What a sharp tongue. Funny how negotiating never seems to be your strong suit. For the task ahead, I suggest you keep your true feelings to.
Save your breath. I know.
I'm sure you think so, but I still think.
Surely.
I just can't have.
I'm merely lighting a little fire in this. Do you remember the last time you were here? That was a lot of swordsmiths you killed. I'm sure the descendants of the Raiden Gokaden are still suffering the consequences. Look at you. Oh, don't get so sent. Bye then. See you at the victory feast.
Poor little tongue?
The plot does not end here.
Yes.
Why are you staring at me in silence? Can't you think of a nicer way to express yourself?
I'm under no obligation to be nice to you. Besides, I thought nothing mattered to you except results in your own interests. Isn't that right? Witch?
Muddle-headed puppet. You're only number 6 because you can take more abuse than other humans. Do you really count that as an asset?
You're about as much fun to be around as a raging inferno. But before we murder each other, it'd be best if we finish our duties.
Her Majesty's
Let's get it
power
on!
flows through me!
Bow your head.
Show no mercy! You two! Time to end them!
Silence! Be sanctified.
Out of my sight! Gotcha! This is Her Majesty's gift!
Get to work! Buckle up!
Bow your head.
In this body. There you are.
Fulfill our pact!
Let me amuse myself.
Let's get it on! Everybody stand back! Let's light it up! Show no mercy!
Settle down.
Gloves off!
Just great.
Look along!
The times beckon.
Lolling! Eat Papa! Get him!
Bow your head.
Shine no longer.
Looks like we've arrived in Sumeru. Is that?
Considering that Amorta's sage...
Welcome.
When do we start?
You seem
The biologic... Nothing worse than what...
You were the most resilient test subject I ever came across. Thanks to you, alas, after...
That was gracefully...
I suggest...
The doctor again?
That person gives off a very...
It's normal for...
Let's move on.
You're a god.
If you accept that he is you, just as you are you, then yes.
In your eyes, are there any differences between...
Do you think there are any differences between your present self and your previous and future incarnations? If not, then what are the differences between humans and... Whoever has tasted the joys and sorrows...
I've seen enough of my... No matter the consequences, I won't run from blame or punishment. Whatever I am due, can you return my memories to me?
Huh? But won't that mean you'll lose your...
I've always believed that human lives follow a set of rules. As a puppet living in a human...
Regaining your memory, are you sure you want to...
I've lived with a void in my chest my whole life. My creator didn't need me. And ever since But then I met you. And I finally realized that reclaiming my missing sins might be my one opportunity. I've always felt I haven't, so I beg you.
Very well, since your mind is... You have made your decision. Now, take this.
Set him free.
A puppet? What's he doing here? You're a human as far as I'm concerned.
Everyone's here. Wonderful.
What a fine blade. Nagamasa will be thrilled.
This is my...
Is he alright? No way!
All worthless dross will be purged. That's why this won't be the end.
This is trying my patience.
Have you got all your memories back now?
Questions?
Feeble human! Behold! At my... Man, when rises, you shall fall! Feeble human! Swan Fury! My endless cycle begins! Swan Fury! Wind rises. Wretched vermin! Imbecile! Get out of my sight. What did you expect? I'd never lose to...
There's the tone of weight! But
Sorry. I'm harsh on myself and everyone else. Just the way I am. You sound like you're concerned about, but don't worry. Thanks to you, even if I didn't change a thing, at least I now know the truth.
The memory recovery seems to have been a success.
Come on. Let's continue this out.
Welcome back, traveler. You don't like being addressed by that name?
It's fine. But I was just thinking, I should probably change it. After learning about everything the doctor did, there's no way I can carry on using a name connected. I'm not planning on returning to the Fatui. And they wouldn't take me back anyway.
So, you're quitting the Fatui for good?
It's like you said, Lesser Lord Kusanali. Everything may look futile, but it wasn't completely meaningless.
But that doesn't mean your own past has disappeared.
Of course.
And your main goal, for which you gave up everything you had, you weren't able to achieve it. I hope you changing what you were looking for is complete annihilation. But this is just a fantasy. Even if the Balladeer is removed from existence, the world...
Indeed.
Do you regret doing all that?
Even if I'm completely Lesser Lord Kusanali, you purposely left that information in Irminsul, didn't you?
Yes. And I took pains to make sure that you'd acquire that information naturally.
Why would you go to such lengths? You trying to win me over too?
In all honesty, your past experiences have made you a useful asset to Sumeru and to me. Winning you over was indeed a part of my plan, but before that, I wanted to tell you the truth about your past.
Very clever.
I guess you could say that's one of my virtues.
Utility to others is what gives me worth. Self-embracing my... Oh, right. I almost forgot. You're the good guys. You're into justice and all that. Sorry if I have a slightly different perspective on things, but I don't feel like I've been duped. The wisest leaders are fated to end up with the best helpers. I can live...
I'm glad you're able to think of it in that, traveler, including the beginning of your twins' journey recorded in Irminsul. What exactly happened before and after that point? I want to know as well. I will try.
Traveler. After I dove into the information torrent in Irminsul, why did you go to Inazuma? So that's how you found out whose fate had changed. Well, whatever your reasons, you did me a borrowing and returning are the only real relationships between individuals.
That's not true. A relationship between two people is not simply a ledger that I think deep down you realize this. People who show up in your life don't just evaporate like water drops into some things in the everything that you feel. To be human is to live with imperfections.
But humans can't.
You understand what pain is perfectly well, even without the past is set in stone, but you can keep moving on. And the...
Sounds like you've got a future planned out for...
Everything's a...
Then I guess I'll be helping you from behind the scenes from now on.
I'm glad that you've accepted our proposal. Why don't you choose a new...
Ooh! Paimon wants to pick an ugly nickname for you, too!
Why?
Because... Paimon still doesn't...
Then I hope we don't see much of each other.
A name is life's first gift. You didn't say it out loud, but... The Traveler and Paimon have helped you a lot. If you can't decide on a new name, maybe you can ask...
No! Paimon only does nicknames! If it's a serious name you're after...
Have you got anything? Are you sure? Oh, alright. If you...
There. Now you have a name of...
What about a nickname? Take your time. I don't need to see you again. Everyone who manipulated me and made me suffer, well...
You mean the fatigue?
The doctor.
Now that your stance has changed...
One more thing. There are still some descendants of the Raiden Gokuden living in Inazu. I don't plan to leave, even though the event...
I see. Huh?
It's fine. Let them stab their Alright, goodbye, wise deity. And you too.
He's gone.
What he went through today...
Yeah, true. But even so we can finally...
Thank you, Bo.
I've got it! I can end my novel.
You mean because...
Yeah! I heard the dark clap then, one night. All these expressions... Life!
It's about time we had a break. As soon as you stop, all the tiredness... Wow! Huh? Look at the vase. Did someone break...
You sound lost and confused. I know why you are troubled. Any who knew of this would find their mind overwhelmed.
Huh? Is there someone...
Unfortunately, the fate of Tevat cannot easily be changed. Perhaps a god may have a slim chance. But for anyone, when a small animal runs like a vase that falls to the ground, history does not change easily.
The voice has disappeared. And who the heck... What? It feels wrong just...